Hey champions, Coach FAYE here, author of Choreography of Awakening, performance mastery coach, and founder and president of the Institute for Performance Mastery. I'm standing here in front of my house and I'm about to go on the journey of selling my book, Choreography of Awakening, from one house to another. I am terrified. So I'm almost procrastinating just standing here and recording this video for you to let you know I am doing it. It's possible, and I am about to take off, and here is the bag full of books, and I'm going to go and knock on the doors of my neighbors and see what's gonna happen. And stay tuned, you'll see the next clip. I'm now back from my little journey of selling the books. It turned out, as you can imagine, it wasn't as terrifying as I have anticipated it to be. As a matter of fact, probably the first house was not very fun, but the very next house that I went to, I've met this lovely lady and we had a beautiful conversation. She didn't buy my book, but we made a really nice, sweet connection. And as I kept going from house to house, a lot of the houses didn't have anyone, or you couldn't just knock on the door, and so I had to pass. So I was getting a little frustrated that maybe it was a bad idea. It just kind of felt like it was going to be too easy. And then I figured that there was some judgments that I was making about some people, that, oh, these people are not going to buy my book. And then it turned out that these people were exactly the people that did buy my book. And so I had about an hour and a half out, and I don't know how many houses I knocked on the door, and lots of them didn't have anyone in there. But I got to talk to 8 people, and of 8 people, I sold 4 books. That was pretty good. So it was really interesting that they would look at me and they're like, who are you? And they were concerned and insecure, feeling like with a stranger at the door. And then I would introduce myself and say, hey, I'm a neighbor from around the corner and I want to meet new neighbors, and I'm an author. I wrote a book, and I figured that I should share my book with the neighbors. And they were like, really? And then they would be interested in it, and then I would show them the picture in the book of about the author, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's really you. I'm like, yeah, that is me. And they would get excited, and then they would have me sign autographs right on the picture. And I have never done that before, actually. So it was fun, and it was fun that couple of families, they bought my books for their kids, and I got to meet the kids, and the kids were very excited. And it was really rewarding experience. I'm truly looking forward to continuing this journey and meeting more people, because the truth is, if I didn't do this today, I would have stayed home all day and I wouldn't have made any connections with people. And I got to make a little bit of money. And of course, I'm looking forward to, gosh, selling 6,500 books, and now I have only 6,496 books to sell. That's it, guys. And then I'm gonna be off my mission of selling this many books. It would inspire 6,500 people plus their friends and families, and hopefully touch their lives and make a difference in theirs. Thank you so much for following me, and this is Coach FAYE. Stay tuned. I am going to broadcast this and share the lessons and experiences from this journey. Bye. And I'm going to sell my books again from house to house, second time, wish me luck, and I'll be back to let you know how that went. Bye. Day 3 on my book signing tour. Today there was something else, getting out of the comfort zone. Instead of saying I'm going house to house, door to door, I decided to call my event a neighborhood book signing tour. So I go out now, knock on the door, and I introduce myself and I say, hey, I'm FAYE, I live right around the corner, and I'm on a neighborhood book signing tour. Going to businesses. And that was a little bit different experience than going house to house. And I must share that I walked into this nail salon, and they look at me like, "You're gonna do nails?" I'm like, "No, I'm an author and I have a book." And they look at me and they're like, "Well, ask these people if they are interested in your book." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, just speak." I'm like, "Just speak in the salon?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And so I'm standing in the middle of the salon and everyone is staring at me. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And I opened my mouth and I said, "Hi guys, I'm a speaker, but I'm terrified of speaking. But I'm here because I am on a book signing tour. I am an author and I have this awesome book with me. Is anyone interested?" And hands flew up. And people wanted to see my book. And I gave it to them. And they looked it through, like, "I'm in. I'm in. Please sign it for me. Thank you so much for coming here." And I felt like I just made Christmas in that salon because these women, they got something so special. And not only that, this one woman, she's like, "I'm a nail technician and I want you to come back. I'm gonna do nails for you." And I'm like, "Really? Thank you so much." And then she said, "I have a friend and she has a store and I'm going to introduce the two of you because she sends thousands of books and she holds the book signing events and she would love to have you." And I'm like, this is all happening just because getting out of the comfort zone. It actually is so much fun. We're craving for connection with people because we're so often just stuck behind the computer, stuck behind our iPhones, cell phones, emails, and we're so busy. And there is no time to actually heart-to-heart connection. But people actually hug me and they tell me, "Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. And we want to keep in touch with you. And please keep doing this." And I was so afraid to go out. And I compared that to the fire walk that I did with Tony Robbins in 2011. And I thought that was like, oh my gosh, the fire walk was nothing compared to going on this book tour and knocking on the doors and asking people to buy it. But I'm learning so much about myself and about people and hopefully making a little difference in their life. And I just want you to take this moment and think, what are you afraid of doing that something horrible is going to happen and you're actually robbing yourself of joy and fun and vitality of life? Stay tuned. I am going to report that as of right now, I have sold 21 books so far, and that's 21 books more than I had 3 days ago. Today was a very, very hard day. And it was the first day that I encountered a lot of rejection and a lot of meanness, actually. Not meanness. I guess I'm spoiled with being surrounded with really amazing, heart-centered people in my life that I failed to notice how many people are out there being so in pain and not trusting and close-hearted and closed-minded, and it seems like they've been in a lot of pain and anger and maybe even hurt, of course, and fear. And I was dragging my feet today, and I felt like I set this intention that, hey, I'm going to do this for a year. I'm going to go every day. I'm going to sell this many books. It's not going as well as I thought it may. Maybe I don't even know what I thought, but it's difficult. Yeah, spent 5 hours for 5 books. That's a lot of hours for very few books. It was hard. And I could hear my internal conversation going, that's it, I'm going home, I'm not gonna do this anymore, just forget it. It's too much, it's too hard. And then the other voice would come in and be like, no, just knock on this next door, just next door, just next door. And today I must have knocked on, I don't even know how many doors before I got my first yes. And I suppose this is all part of the journey, and this is why I have committed to recording short little videos for you to share this and to see what am I going to learn from this? What is the wisdom in this? How can we all improve and take something out of it and change our lives? And one thing for sure, actually, in one of the houses, they stopped me and they're like, oh my gosh, would you agree to run for a board of this community? I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you're so awesome with talking to people. It would be cool to have you on board. Now, I didn't expect that at all, but I do see that as I'm practicing knocking on those doors and talking to people, I'm going to become more and more attuned to each and every one of them and to myself. So this is a huge learning and growth opportunity, and every day as I'm doing this, I'm reminded of the late Wayne Dyer, who became a New York Times bestseller and famous teacher who is so loved by so many people all over the world. And that's how he did it. And if he did it, why couldn't I do that? Join me on this journey, 1 year to selling the books, and gosh, I have a lot of books to sell. So today was only 5 books, so I guess from Monday to Saturday I am at 26 books. It's 26 books better than it was last week. Coach Faye, stay tuned. Talk to you soon. Bye.